D2 Word Life here with Fake Razor and Fake Diesel's biggest lover boy, Riptides.
No. You liked them both. You want to with them.
No. We all know how much you want those two plus Yokozuna all over you.
Oh no, we all know that you want Yokozuna, you want Fake Diesel, you want Fake Razor, and you want Shawn Michaels all over you.
What the?
Shorts.
Oh, what the fuck? But anyway, today we are reviewing the 1996 Survivor Series, and are you done burning me for the time being?
We'll see.
Anyway, this event took place on November 17th, 1996, at Madison Square Garden in New York City, New York, with an attendance of 18,647. And the commentators for this match were for this event were Vince McMahon, Jerry Lawler, and Jim Ross for the first half, and then the second half after Lawler's match, there was either just Vince McMahon and Ross or McMahon and a special guest commentator for this event.
In the second half for Lawler's match, it was Jim Ross, Vince McMahon, and Sonny. And
Yes.
then it was towards the rest of it was just, and then it was
McMahon,
Jim Ross, McMahon, Jim
and Cornette for one of them.
and then it was just JR and Vince.
Yeah. So after the opening package to this event, which they were hyping the main event plus the return of Bret Hart in this one, we go to our opening contest, which was the traditional Survivor Series matchup between the team of the British Bulldog, Owen Hart, Marty Jannetty, and Leif Cassidy, aka Al Snow.
Yep.
Taking on your boys, the Sister Fishers. I mean the Godwins.
It would be the Cousin Sisters. Thank you very much.
Doug Furnas and Phil LaFawn in a Survivor Series elimination tag match.
And 4 of those names have come up recently in our reviews.
Yes.
Well, no, 6 of those names.
And as for the managers, Clarence Mason was in Bulldog, Hart's, Jannetty's, and Cassidy's corner, while Hillbilly Jim was in the Godwins, Furnas, and LaFawn's corner for this match.
Yeah.
Kind of started off slow like it would be until freaking Phineas Godwin got quadruple teamed in the heels corner.
Yeah.
It's pretty much near the start. And then Leif Cassidy or Al Snow, whatever you want to call him, hit a clothesline and a leg drop to Phineas. And then later on, Phineas got the advantage back, and then he tried to do a suplex that was countered, and Jannetty hit an elbow, and Jannetty tried to do an elbow drop, which was also countered at that point.
Yeah.
And according to this, and then shortly after that, Jannetty got eliminated after a slop drop by Henry Godwin, who tagged himself in prior to that.
Yes, but you also have to think that also JR was saying that Marty Jannetty was being a fool because he just kept fucking doing exactly what he was doing when he was teaming with Shawn.
Yeah. With the whole mockery and the dancing around shtick, which didn't really age well. Yeah, and then but then almost immediately after Jannetty's elimination, Henry Godwin got eliminated by a spinning heel kick by Owen, who came in there immediately after Jannetty's elimination.
Yep.
So pretty much we were down to a 3-on-3 scenario here. Yeah, and then after a little short freaking double team, triple team, whatever you want to call it, Bulldog got the tag from Owen, and Bulldog eliminated Phineas with a power slam after Phineas got the tag in. If it seems like I'm going through these rather quickly, it's because this is a long event to talk about.
Yep.
And then this one was kind of entertaining because shortly after Phineas got eliminated, there was a leapfrog sequence by Bulldog and Furnace LaFawn. Or Furnace, right?
Yes.
Which I found strangely entertaining. It's not too often we see Bulldog into that kind of situation.
Yeah.
And then at one point, Owen got the tag. There was a drop kick by Owen on Furnace himself. And then there was some more triple teaming on Furnace while the referee was distracted shortly after that. Then Cassidy tagged himself in and got eliminated after a reverse suplex from the top rope.
Some kind of fucking reverse suplex shit that they did.
Which I found as a highlight. Because when you think of suplex off the top rope, we think of the traditional version. Where the person taking the move lands on their back, but not their stomach. Like this one was.
Yeah. Well, it knocked the fucking wind out of his ass.
Yep. So yeah, but then we're down to 2-on-3. No, we're down to 2-on-2 here. It's like Owen did hit a belly to belly for a 2 count on LaFawn, but that only got a 2. Then LaFawn fought back by hitting an enziguri on Owen for another 2 count.
Yep.
And then when LaFawn got the advantage or was maintaining the advantage, his momentum was stopped when Bulldog was a dick and hit a low blow on him.
Yep.
And Bulldog was on the ring apron, not even a legal man at this point, right?
Yep.
And there was a double team attempt by Owen, and Bulldog got reversed when LaFawn hit him with double clotheslines, I believe. And then Bulldog was then eliminated by Sunset Roll-Up by LaFawn in a shocking moment, right?
Yep.
Which left freaking the heel team with a 2-on-1 disadvantage. But Owen, to his credit, fought back valiantly against the 2 when he kept working on LaFawn's leg, and then Owen actually managed to get a sharpshooter on LaFawn here.
Yep.
Pretty much symbolizing if I'm going down swinging, right?
Yep.
Of course, right when LaFawn looked like he was going to tap out, it's like his partner Furnace got up in the apron, so Owen broke the hold to attack Furnace on the outside, off the ring apron.
Yep.
Yeah, but then Owen was going for a kick, which LaFawn reversed it, and then Owen reversed it, and then LaFawn went for the hot tag to Furnace, right? And Owen Hart got eliminated after a reverse suplex from the top rope by Furnace again, making Furnace and LaFawn the winners, the survivors of the first Survivor Series tag team match of this show.
Well, also that was their first ever outing in the WWF.
So with those main points like discussed and talked about there, what's your thoughts about this opening Survivor Series match?
It was okay. It was decent.
Yeah, it was decent for what it was for the time.
Better, but
yeah, was it the best Survivor Series team match I've seen? Was it the best Survivor Series team match I've seen? No. But, it was serviceable enough, and it got the crowd into the show. So, yeah, there you go. But we'll talk about a Survivor Series match later on this card that wasn't so great. We'll get to that when we get to that.
That's it.
Yeah, and then next we had a Mankind interview in the back, talking about his match with The Undertaker.
Well, we had the interview and then the match right after the interview.
Yeah, Paul Bearer was talking about how Mankind's not afraid they'll beat down The Undertaker again. Which brings us to our next match. It was The Undertaker versus Mankind once again. Feels like deja vu. This is the third time we're reviewing this specific match here. But this time, the stipulation was Paul Bearer was suspended in a shark cage above the ring.
Well, this won't be the last time we see a fat man in a cage.
Yeah, and then,
If you know what I mean.
yes. Yeah, and then, yeah, but like I said, Paul Bearer was spinning the shark cage above the ring with the stipulation being if The Undertaker won the match, then he would finally be able to get his hands on Paul Bearer, his former manager who betrayed him at the SummerSlam prior to this event, which we already covered. All right.
Yep.
But this was the first time that The Undertaker was seen after getting buried alive by Bear and Mankind at the previous month's In Your House, which that's on my bucket list of shows to review, by the way. So
the Executioner was there.
Yeah, so be prepared for another Undertaker versus Mankind outing again at some point to talk about.
There's multiple.
Yep. But yeah, but because this was The Undertaker's first appearance after being buried alive, he actually came out. During his entrance, he actually got lowered from the rafters. And this was when first time he was wearing all leather, and he actually had a pair of bat wings down his back.
This was the start of his ministry form.
And if you even notice the detail, Undertaker even had that black teardrop on his face for the first time.
Yes.
Which he retained throughout 97 and 98. And most of 98.
Yes. Until the later years of 98 when he just fucking left.
Yeah, when he left and then formed the ministry and then left after that and then came back as Biker Taker 4 years after this. Right.
Which was a better incarnation anyways.
Yeah, some may say that. Some may say the Dead Man was better. I'm just like, I don't care. It's a fucking Undertaker. I'll still watch his matches, regardless of the gimmick he's got. All right?
Yeah.
But when the Undertaker got into the ring, Paul Bearer voluntarily locked himself into the shark cage to try to get away from the Undertaker after being hesitant, saying, I'm not getting in that cage. Right?
Yeah, but that wouldn't also be the last time we see a fat man running into a cage.
Of course, because of the Undertaker being distracted, Mankind attacked the Undertaker from behind to start the match.
Yep.
And then eventually the brawl between Taker and Mankind went onto the outside, where they brawled out there at ringside. Right? And then back in the ring, the Undertaker applied, and then I believe this was either back in the ring or at ringside still. The Undertaker did apply an armbar on Mankind, working on the arm and the shoulder.
In the ring, centered.
In the ring, yeah, centered. Yeah, I knew it was like right after the spot where they were brawling on the outside. And then they went back to the outside shortly after that, where Taker slammed Mankind's arm into the guardrail, the steel steps, and the ring post.
Boy, he was making sure he couldn't use the mandible claw.
Yeah, he was working on his arm and his freaking mandible claw hand. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then a little while after that, Mankind and the Undertaker fought into the crowd after Undertaker pretty much chucked Mankind over the guardrail into the crowd.
Yep.
And then to get him back into the ringside area, Mankind got back body dropped over the railing onto the floor.
It was funny as hell because he's all like, "Oh, I'm gonna close."
Yeah, Mankind, Mick Foley, gave it to him, man. He tried to do a clothesline on Taker. He tried to clothesline freaking the Undertaker over the rail, only for Taker to be like, nope, and reverse him and back body drop him onto the freaking floor, back at ringside.
Justin, you think at that moment
he knew? It was at that moment he knew he fucked up.
Did you think at that moment he said, "Oh, fuck, I just done fucked up"?
Yeah, that was a he just knew at that moment he fucked up moment. Right?
Yep. And he continued to fuck up in the match.
Of course, we get to those spots later, but shortly after that, Mankind did manage to fight back and actually hit a friggin' rolling dive from the ring he put on to Taker the first time. Yeah. Which I'm like, okay, that was pretty impressive. I'll give Mick Foley that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then back into the ring. The Undertaker Mankind had Taker under control, and including hitting him with his signature running knee into the corner.
Yeah.
Of course, and the Undertaker after that fought back and freaking struck Mankind with punches and even bit his hand in the ropes when he had his arm tied up in the ropes.
Yep.
Trying to weaken and soften that hand even more so he can't apply the mandible claw.
Yep.
And of course, shortly after that one, we seen the forbidden move. And yes, I'm talking about Mankind actually hit a pile driver on the Undertaker. You know, the sit-down pile driver version.
Well, it wasn't forbidden yet.
Well, I'm talking, nowadays, that's kind of taboo to use. I'm just saying, back then it was common, but now it was kind of rarity, so it's like finding gold. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, the Undertaker didn't kick that too. And then Mankind attempted to do a mandible claw, but it got reversed by Taker because Taker freaking went for the neck or throat of Mankind right at the same time. And then shortly after that, the Undertaker tried to do a tombstone pile driver, but Mankind reversed into the mandible claw, which we've seen before.
Yes.
Except this time there wasn't a pile of thumbtacks laying around.
Yeah.
But then the Undertaker actually got out of that mandible claw after his arm went down twice, only for him to come back. And then those two went to the outside where Mankind's head struck the rail like hard. You could hear the thud bump onto it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and then Undertaker went back to working on Mankind's hand here by slamming it into the steel steps. Now, at this point, you would think Mankind would be like, fuck this, I'm done. My hand's broken,
Yeah.
but no, that's not the case. Back in the ring, the Undertaker did perform an old school, followed by a neck breaker on the Mankind.
Yeah.
And of course, the Undertaker then went for the choke slam, only to get it reversed into the mandible claw again. At this point.
Yeah.
But then the Undertaker came back afterwards and actually managed to break the mandible claw and hit the choke slam immediately following it, right?
Yep.
Only for a 2 count. And then Mankind and the Undertaker kept brawling, with Mankind putting Undertaker on the outside. And then Mankind tried to freaking do another rolling dive, and that was one time too many. Because you know what they all say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And the Undertaker wasn't going to fall for that again.
Yep.
So the Undertaker got out of the way, and Mankind went splat on the ground. And I'm like, that looked bad. Jeez. Imagine that pain in your back. All right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then Mankind battled back regardless, and even had Taker into a sleeper, which the Undertaker then reversed into a suplex of his own. And then Mankind at this point got desperate after getting back up. Went to Paul Bear, and Paul Bear handed him some sort of long, sharp object where he just started battering Taker's head with it.
The railroad spike?
Yeah, the railroad spike, yeah. Unbeknownst to the referee, who didn't see what Mankind had a hold of.
Yeah.
But despite that, the Undertaker did manage to battle back and actually hit a tombstone onto Mankind for a 3 count.
Yep.
And of course, the winner was the Undertaker, of course. But before the Undertaker could get his hands on Paul Bear, which at this point the cage has been lowered. Oh yeah, and by the way, I think Paul Bear dropped the railroad spike down from the cage that he was in.
He dropped it down to Mankind.
Yeah. Of course, with the Undertaker winning, the cage was lowered, and right when the Undertaker was about to get his hands on his former manager, the Executioner came out and attacked the Undertaker after the match, allowing Paul Bear to escape.
Yep.
And that's how it all ended.
Yep.
So your thoughts on this specific Undertaker versus Mankind match?
He should have got his hands on the fat man.
Eventually, we'll see Paul Bear get his comeuppance.
Yeah, but it won't be the last time that we see fat men in cages.
But yeah, your thoughts overall on this brawl between these two again?
It was pretty much Undertaker domination.
I mean, Mankind did have some glimpse of battling back, though, so it wasn't 100% one-sided.
I said pretty much. I didn't say one-sided.
Yeah. I mean, I thought this match was good for what it was.
You want one-sided fucking match? Look at Hell in a Cell.
Oh, yeah, we reviewed that Hell in a Cell match. Jesus Christ, we know that was a night that Mick Foley almost died, okay? But that match wouldn't happen for another little over a year after this. Or 2 years, whatever. Should I just say 2 years after this event? All right?
Yes.
So, yeah, I thought the match was good. You know. It is what it is. It's not the best Undertaker versus Mankind match. That match will always go to the Hell in a Cell match, their final encounter. But, you know, this one was serviceable.
Yeah.
For what it was, you know, and it told the story it needed to tell.
Second match that they had together on pay-per-view and shit, so.
Actually, 1, 2. This was their fourth encounter on pay-per-view.
Huh.
The first one taking place at the 96 King of the Ring, the second one taking place at SummerSlam, which we reviewed, and the third one taking place at Buried Alive.
No.
So yeah, this was their fourth one, but the ending just signified that this rivalry wasn't over yet, and another person has been added.
Yep.
During this time. But either way, I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a great match. Yeah, I thought it was a great match, good match, whatever. I was entertained by the brawl. All right.
So was I.
Yeah, and then we go backstage, where... No, then we go to the next Survivor Series match, which was Jake the Snake Roberts, Mark Miro, the Stalker, which is Barry Windham, the late Bray Wyatt's uncle, and Rocky Maivia, the future final boss, making his debut.
No, we went backstage because they did the interview before they did the match, because it was
a heel team.
It was when Sonny came out.
Well, Sonny did come out to do
the Jerry the King Lawler
for guest commentary.
They did the interview of the King saying, "Oh, we're gonna give them these guys a gold medal beating for because it's gonna be 3-on-4
or something.
We have the advantage." And then that's when their music hit. So it was Crush. Jerry the King Lawler. It was
Crush, Jerry Lawler, Goldust, and Triple H, who was Intercontinental Champion.
Hunter Hart Helmsley.
Or Triple H, whatever you want to call him. Who was Intercontinental Champion.
This is before he was Triple H.
Well, I just noted as Triple H. It's easier for me to remember. I'm not going to write down Hunter Hurst Helmsley in my notes.
Yes, and then it was Mark Mero.
There was Mark Mero, the Stalker, Barry Windham, whatever you want to call him.
Barry Windham.
Jake the Snake Roberts, which was Mark Henry's replacement.
Yes.
And
but there was one other before that.
And we had the future final boss making his debut. Yes, I'm talking about Rocky Maivia.
Oh, yeah. It was Rocky Maivia. And then, well, we all know who the true final boss is.
Yes.
But,
and of course, you know, the face team has...
Mero,
Rocky
Maivia, and Barry Windham, the Stalker. And then Mark Mero was like, "Oh, you don't think I was stupid enough to come out 3v4? And our mystery partner is Jake the Snake Roberts, and Jerry the King Lawler wasn't going to have any of that."
It was freaking out because you know what happened the last time we reviewed Jake Roberts and Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, they were doing that fucking god awful fucking match.
Yes. And of course, the face team here had Sable in their corner. And the heels had Marlena in their corner only because Sable was the manager of Mark Merrow and Marlena, or Terry Runnels, was the manager of Goldust at this point. Oh, yeah, and they do.
And Sonny was doing commentary.
Yes.
And trying to hit on everyone.
Oh, yeah, and I would like to take note here that during this time period, Triple H or Hunter Helmsley was the Intercontinental Champion.
They beat Mark Merrow for it.
And going back to that opening tag match, yes, Bulldog and Owen Hart were the tag champions. But, you know, those titles are irrelevant to the show. They weren't defended.
Yeah.
There was only one championship freaking match on here, which that's the main event. Oh, yeah, and before we get into the match, going back to the heel team promo backstage, Lawler saying he's going to freaking kick the other team's ass, Olympic gold medal stylist, or whatever he was saying. I'm thinking to myself, this was before Kurt Angle's debut. He's not on it. Sorry, that just went through my head when I freaking heard it. I mean, hell, this event literally took place 3 years to the event before Angle's debut.
Yeah. But they were referencing the Olympics anyways.
Which we all know Kurt Angle won a gold medal in freestyle Olympic wrestling in 96. And I guess it was at this time that WWE or Vince was interested in hiring Angle, but Angle tried to be like, nope.
They were interested before, but he didn't want. He had already been doing his Olympic training, and he told them no because he was doing all that.
Then even Angle went on interviews saying that, yeah, around 96 they freaking tried hiring me. I didn't want anything to do with it because what they did was, quote, fake, and what he did was real. And then it wasn't until a couple of years later he got interested in being a pro wrestler anyway. Especially after the whole disaster that was in 96. Especially after
because his Olympic career ended when he fucking broke his neck.
And of course his first taste of pro wrestling at this time didn't really do anything for Angle. Because it was also maybe a couple months before this that Angle was actually thinking about going to ECW, which that didn't work out well, and that's when they had the Sandman Crucifix. Angle and Kurt Angle was like, fuck you, I'm not going to sign, and I don't want to compete here. Which his first taste of pro wrestling then was kind of sour.
Yes.
But it wasn't until a couple years later he started watching, I guess, Raw, WWE, and he was like, you know what, this is something I could do. And, well, the rest is history, because we know what happened in the later years. Right?
Yeah, he became bald.
But we're not talking about Angle's career. Off subject here. After Jake the Snake Roberts made his freaking goddamn entrance after being announced as a mystery partner, freaking all the heels in the ring cleared as soon as he freaking got that snake in the ring.
Desmond?
Yes, and I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't want to be around a giant-ass fucking snake either. And we all know you wouldn't want to either. Of course, after the match started with shortly after the match started, Goldust did hit a back body drop on Miro, and then Stalker then got tagged in shortly after that and hit a clothesline to Goldust.
No, it started with Triple H being a pussy and not facing Mark Merrow.
Yeah, and then Goldust got the tag in and started all that. Yeah. What I just mentioned. Yeah, and then The Rock Maya Via. I'm just going to call him The Rock despite the fact that this was his first match, okay? We're used to saying that. So when I say that, just take it with a grain.
Well, he took Rocky from his dad, and he took Maya Via from his grandfather.
Yes. Yeah, well, I'm just going to call him Rock or The Rock for this review. Just take it with a grain of salt because this was his first match under his first original name.
Because that's what he came out as back then.
Yeah, well, whatever. Maivia got the tag in, and then he hit a drop kick. He had drop kicks and clotheslines on the Lawler to the outside. Got him out of there. Right.
Yep.
And then shortly afterwards, Hunter. We'll just call him Hunter, okay? It's like Hunter had Rock in the corner and delivering chops that looked devastating. And then Lawler came in and hit a bunch of fist drops onto Maivia at one point in the match. Yeah, and then Rock freaking makes a comeback, body drops Hunter, and then tags in. And then Roberts gets in, clears house after Maivia tagged him in. Right?
Yep.
And of course, Lawler gets in there, starts beating down on Roberts, and then Lawler freaking starts mocking Roberts and his alcoholism again, reminding me of that horrible angle.
Of course, keeps doing the same stupid shit that he was doing in that damn match. Of
course, Roberts got revenge for SummerSlam and the mockery by hitting a DDT onto Lawler and eliminating him that way.
Yep.
And I'm like, good. At least the cringe is now gone. Right?
Yeah, but he never came back out for the rest of the night either.
Yeah, that DDT must have scrambled his brains. He's like, I can't do commentary. Right? Yeah, but then Goldust got back. Goldust got in and freaking started beating down Roberts, including applying a chin lock to Roberts, which would make a certain wrestling YouTuber happy to see. And I'm like, what great. I'm like, that's great. This is what this event needs, a good old-fashioned rest hold. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then freaking, then Stalker gets the tag in, or Wyndham gets the tag in, whatever you want to call him, but...
Stalker.
Yeah, but then Crush kind of, on the out, shortly afterwards, Crush kind of stops Stalker's momentum by hitting him from behind. Attacking him from behind when he was not the legal man on the apron. And then Stalker or Wyndham got eliminated after a curtain call finisher by Goldust.
Yep.
So if you're keeping score on this one now, we're to 3-on-3 here. Yeah, and then Triple H came in, or Triple H Hunter comes in and hits a knee drop on Mero when Mero was down. Right?
Yep.
Shortly after that. Then Crush gets a tag in, and at one point applies a bear hug to Mero. What we need, rest holds, and we need them now, because who cares about high-paced, fast action, am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then Miro in the corner gets triple teamed by the three remaining members of the heel team left. And then Crush did manage to hit a backbreaker on Mero and went for the cover only for Mero to kick out at 2.
Yeah.
And then Hunter got the tag and at one point applied the abdominal stretch on the Mero here, which Mero did not submit. Mero did fight back and hit a back body drop to Hunter. Counter.
Well, it was after the distraction with Goldust grabbing onto him and then them telling him not to, then him grabbing the rope and the ref kicking his hand off the rope.
Oh yeah, the back body. I was like, yeah, that was when Triple H was like faking like he was going to fall over in the match, only for him to get the tag to Goldust. And right when Hunter was pinned, or looked like Hunter was pinned, the referee didn't count because Hunter was no longer the legal man anyway. And Goldust broke up the pin. Hunter did get the tag back in afterwards, at some point afterwards, but then Miro was able to eliminate him after hitting a Miro salt from the top rope on the Hunter. So Hunter's now gone.
I think that ref was also fined for touching the wrestlers when they weren't supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Mero tried to do a crossbody onto the outside under Crush, but failed in his attempt to do that as well. And I'm just like, that's why they call it high risk, right?
Yep.
And because of that, Mero couldn't continue and was counted out. So thus, he was eliminated. Now we're 2v2. Right?
Well, after Mero did his Mero assault on Triple H and got him pinned for 3.
Yeah. That's what I mentioned. Yeah, then Roberts came in. Crush was also legal man at this point. And Crush got control and actually hit a heart punch onto Roberts, which was his finisher to eliminate him.
Yep.
Meaning we're like 2-on-1 now with a Maivia, the not yet final boss Maivia left. Right? Yes, I have to take the piss out of that. You know me. Right?
We all know who the true final boss is. It's not him.
Yes, the true final boss. We know who that is. That's the tribal chief.
No, it's the Undertaker, bitch.
Okay. I can't even deny that with a joke. Right?
I was about to say I'm not true. Say it's not true. Go on, say it. Say it.
Why would I say that when I agree with your statement? Which I know is a rarity when doing these reviews. And of course, Crush and Goldust tried to double team Maivia, which failed miserably when Maivia reversed that, hitting a double clothesline on both of them.
Yeah. Well, it also failed when Goldust was trying to hold Maivia with his hands behind his back when Crush was going to use the heart punch, and then he just fucking takes out Goldust.
Well, I was about to get to that anyway, but during freaking Maivia's brawl with Crush here, Goldust actually hit Maivia with a low blow. And then we seen the spot you mentioned when Goldust was holding Maivia up. Crush was going for his hard punch finisher, but Rock got out of the way. And Crush accidentally hit freaking Goldust with a hard punch, which led to Crush being eliminated after a crossbody from the Rock, which meant the last 2 men remaining were Maivia or Rocky or Maivia or Rock, whatever you want to call them. Then Goldust left, which that didn't last too long because Goldust himself was eliminated after a shoulder breaker from Maivia, which meant that Maivia was the Rock or Rocky Maivia, whatever you want to call it, was the sole survivor of this match. Okay, now that we went through a lot of detail here, what your thoughts on this specific Survivor Series matchup?
Like I said, they were pretty decent.
I mean, yes, freaking
back and forth. Like I said, Triple H was being a pussy.
And yes, Rocky or The Rock looked green in this match, but you know, you can't really help that. This was his first official WWE match, so you really can't fault him for that one.
Well, it was kind of his debut. It was his debut as Rocky Maivia.
Yeah. So, you know, but all in all, I think this was the best Survivor Series match of the night, of this show, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
In my opinion, it was. I mean, it was certainly better than the next one we're going to be talking about a little later. Right?
The third and final?
Yeah. So the next match on the card is arguably the one that is an underrated gym that people really don't talk about that much, even though they should. And it's only because they talk about their rematch they had a couple months later at WrestleMania 13. But yes, I am talking about Steve Austin versus Bret Hart, their first pay-per-view encounter.
Yeah.
And, you know, before the entrances, you know, they did the video package hyping Bret Hart's return and challenge to Steve Austin, which featured
Steve Austin beat the living shit out of his friend Pillman.
Yeah, during this featured Steve Austin just dominating everyone, including Pillmanizing Brian Pillman's ankle. Hence the term Pillmanizing.
Really? You had to fucking do that?
Yes, I had to say it. That's where the term first came from when someone gets their leg crushed or ankle crushed by a chair. And yes, Brian Pillman was the first one to suffer that, which is why the name of that move is Pillmanizing.
Well, this is also the start of Pillman's drug addiction thing because of that moment.
Anyway, before Austin's entrance, Austin did a backstage promo with Austin pretty much saying he's going to whip Bret Hart's ass, and that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. That's what I got out of it near the end.
Well, he was saying, that you're saying, you're the best there is, the best there was, the best there. Those are all gimmicks. And there's nothing like a good old ass whooping.
Yep.
Well, kicking is what he said, but I'm saying ass whooping.
Yep.
And he was, he's like, that was the bottom line.
Yep.
And everything. And Bret Hart had his, after Stone Cold came out, Bret Hart had his interview.
His backstage pre-match promo.
Saying, this, and this. Oh, it's been 5 months since I've been here.
And pretty much Bret said
I'm in the best, I'm in the top shape of my life, blah, 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 blah.
When it's all said and done, Stone Cold will respect me. Right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much how his little pre-match interview wrapped up.
Well, yeah, you're saying that he would respect him at the end of the night. And then you hear Bret Hart's music, and that got a big ass pop.
Yeah, Bret Hart came out. Everyone in that crowd gave the Hitman a standing ovation on his way to the ring.
Like I said, a big ass pop.
Yeah. And what the moment of this wasn't even any hold or move they did. It was the stare down right when the bell rang, or before the bell rang. You know when two wrestlers, iconic wrestlers like that, do a freaking stare down. You know it's gonna be a freaking great brawl or a fight or match, whatever you want to call it.
Well, whenever they do a stare down that intense, like they were doing, they were countering every counter that they were countering. That with their minds are going, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, no, he's going to do this.
Yep.
And then Stone Cold's just like, fuck it, just brawl.
And of course, after a brief stare down between the two, Austin kind of broke the stare down by giving freaking Bret the double deuces.
Yeah.
In typical Steve Austin fashion, right?
He gave him the double gun salute.
Yep. Yeah.
He was saying he was number one.
Yeah, and then there was a lockup between Austin and Bret Hart. Austin managed to get Hart into the corner, and then Bret shoved Austin out of the corner. And I'm just like, oh, starting off hot with this one. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then Austin tried to go for a wrist lock onto Bret Hart at first they were doing waist locks, which Austin tried one, which Bret reversed into one of his own. And then Austin then followed up with a wrist lock, which Bret also reversed into a wrist lock of his own, followed by a takedown from Bret.
Yep.
Yeah, and then shortly after that, Austin tried to drop toe hold onto Bret, only for it to be reversed into a hammerlock submission hold by Bret as well. It's like anything that Austin could think of doing, Bret had an answer for at the start. All right?
Like I said, when they were doing the intense stare down, they were already mentally countering each other from beginning to end. And that's when Stone Cold just said, fuck it, we're brawling.
Yep.
It didn't matter what he did. It was either he countered him or freaking Bret Hart countered Stone Cold. It did not matter. It played out just like they were doing mental math in their heads.
Yeah, and of course, despite that, Austin got out of the hammerlock, hit a back, and then later on hit a back elbow to Bret, followed by an elbow drop to Bret's back at one point. But then Bret fought back and started working on Austin's arm, including an arm submission hold that he had trapped up.
Yep.
You know the one where they hold their arm and hand behind the back of their head?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about that one. But then eventually Austin got out of that submission hold and actually hit a stun gun to Brett on the top rope.
Yep.
Yeah, and then after that, Austin choked Brett on the bottom rope, followed by him slingshotting Brett's neck into the bottom rope.
Yep. Well, he also freaking lifted his ass up into the fucking ropes and dropped his ass down.
Yep. Yeah, and then Austin also hit freaking goddamn elbow drop onto Brett's back, onto the apron, on the back of Brett's head there. Oh, and you know what? It was at that point, shortly after that, Austin decided, you know what, this match could use? A good old-fashioned chin hold. Hell yeah! We all know that makes another certain big YouTuber on here happy. Right?
Uh-huh.
And of course, that wore Brett down to the point where Austin was able to pin him, but Brett kicked out. But then Austin reapplied the chin lock onto Brett again.
Yep.
And of course, Brett managed to get out of that. Brett managed himself to get out of that one as well. And then slugfest ensued between Brett and Austin, which ended with Austin taking control in the corner over Brett. But Brett managed to counter back or fight back, including hitting a roll-up on Austin for a 2, followed by a Russian leg sweep.
Yep.
Of course, this one kind of made me cringe a bit in pain. And it was the spot after that where freaking Austin reversed Bret Hart's Bulldog attempt, sending Bret chest first hard into the turnbuckles.
Yeah.
Now, we've seen Bret take that bump before, but it was usually on his back that he went back first on the turnbuckles, not his freaking chest. That's why, to me, I'm like, ow, that looked like it hurt like a lot. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Austin put Bret up on the top rope at some point and tried to do a suplex, but Bret reversed it, and Austin went flying backwards, and that looked nasty. Right?
Yeah.
And then Bret Hart followed that up with fist drop, something he took from Jerry Lawler for a 2 count.
Yeah.
Of course, then Austin kind of battled back when those two went to the outside, which Austin hit a double axe hand on Bret on the outside of the ring. Of course, then Bret fought back and rammed Austin into the guardrail, thus making them fight in the crowd when the guardrail kind of separated a little bit.
Right? Yeah. Made everyone in the first row back the fuck up.
Yep. And then when they got back into the ringside area, Austin did hit a slingshot onto Bret onto the Spanish announce table, and then jumped himself onto Bret Hart on the other side of the table and continued brawling there.
Yep.
And I'm just like, poor Spanish announce table. They can never catch a break.
It's always the Spanish announcer. It's never the regular announcers. It's always them.
Yep. And then shortly after that, Bret Hart then got slammed onto the Spanish announce table, followed by an elbow drop from Austin onto the table. But the table somehow did not break. I don't know why.
Because it was made sturdy. It was supposed to break, but they made it too sturdy where it didn't freaking break.
Yeah, and then when they got back in the ring, Austin hit Bret with repeated elbow drops. And then at one point, he even whipped Bret Hart hard into the dang turnbuckles.
He also hit Bret Hart with the stunner.
I was going to get to that, too, at some point. Yep. But whatever.
Yeah, because he hit him with the stunner the first time. It wasn't really effective.
Not really effective. I didn't even recognize
until a little later when he hit him with it again.
Well, I did see the second time. I must have missed the first time when they got back into the ring from this point forward. Considering I was jotting down notes.
It was kind of like a neck break stunner, but not really a stunner.
Yeah, it was probably like a neck breaker before he did the whole, or neck break stunner before he did the elbows on Brett.
Yeah.
Regardless, Brett was whipped into the turnbuckles. And then freaking at one point also, later on, Austin did freaking apply the abdominal stretch onto Brett using the ropes for leverage a few times before he was caught by the ref, and because of that, ref forced Austin to break the hold.
Yep.
And of course, it was at that point where both men were trading punches back and forth shortly after, the whole referee catching Austin cheating thing. They traded punches back and forth, and Brett got the favor of that one, stunning Austin back, which led to Brett hitting Austin with his own stun gun move under the ropes.
Yep.
So yeah, poetic justice. What you do to me, I do to you. All right.
Yep.
And here's something that you don't see in the modern, that you didn't see post 97 at all. And I'm talking about the moment when Bret Hart hit the freaking goddamn pile driver on Austin. That resulted in a 2 count.
Yeah.
Because it was like what? It was like after SummerSlam 97, Austin never had that move done to him ever again. So like I say, seeing Austin take a sit-down pile driver like that is like a rare gem these days.
Well, until he faced Owen Hart, and he had to sit down the pile driver thing and got hit on him, which broke his neck.
Yeah. And Bret Hart shortly after that hit a backbreaker on Austin. But Austin did manage to fight back, including chopping friggin' Bret Hart on the top turnbuckle. Then Austin actually managed to superplex Bret off top turnbuckle, followed by a 2 count, right?
Yep.
Followed by Bret Hart getting a 2 count, because when Austin went to go pin him, Bret Hart reversed it into a pinning combination with his legs somehow, which Austin kicked out of, and I'm like, how?
Like I said, they did some fucking weird pinning fucking shit back then.
I literally had to pause it and go back and look at it frame for frame to see how Bret did that. Right?
They did like a fucking kick up, but not really a kick up. It was like a kick pin or something.
I think it was like a kick pin on Austin.
It is.
And of course it was shortly after that, this was the stunner that I first noticed when Austin hit the stunner on Bret, which resulted in freaking Austin pinning Bret Hart 4 times after the match, which resulted in Bret Hart kicking out all 4 times.
Yeah, but he was also dumb. Well, kind of dumb, but also smart, pulling him away from the ropes. But that wasted time so Bret could recover.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in the history of Steve Austin matches, I haven't even seen anyone kick out of a stunner, let alone 4 times.
Well, also, he used the Texas Cloverleaf for the first time, and I haven't seen him use any of that in any of his matches since.
Yeah, I was about to say that was the next point I was going to get to, was after the stunner and pin attempts, Austin did freaking apply the Texas Cloverleaf on the Bret. And Bret didn't.
Which he never used ever again.
Which Bret never tapped out. Bret actually got to the ropes despite being fatigued and hurt at this point.
Right? Yep.
And of course, that prompts Steve Austin and Bret Hart to whip. Bret Hart freaking got whipped shortly after that into the spine first into the ring post.
Yep.
That resulted in a 2 count, and boy, that bump looked nasty. I wonder how Bret Hart's freaking back and spine were doing the next day. I'm pretty sure his back was sore the next day. Let's call a spade here.
Oh yeah.
And of course, after that, Austin actually put Bret Hart into a bow and arrow submission hold.
Yeah.
Which resulted in Bret Hart reversing, getting out of that into a sharpshooter attempt, but Austin...
I'm surprised he didn't tap out to the bow and arrow because when he tried to fucking stop the Irish whip, his fucking legs gave out and he fucking went rib first into that fucking post.
Rib first, spine first. Either way, it fucking sucked.
They thought it was spine first, and then they looked at the double play, and it was rib first.
Yeah, well, either way, that bum looked nasty.
Oh, it was.
And of course,
everyone was surprised, and even him, he even said that he was surprised he didn't get a broken rib from that.
Yep. And of course, Bret Hart did manage to put a sleeper on Austin, which resulted in Austin just reversing it into a jawbreaker. I'm like, yeah, what do you think that's going to do to your goddamn teeth? You better make sure you weren't biting your tongue before taking that drop. Am I right?
Yep.
And of course, Austin had the bright idea to go back to his ringmaster days, which were like a couple months, were like at the start of this calendar year that this event happened. Because Austin then decided, I should do the $1 Million Dream submission hold on the Bret. Maybe that'll pass him out. Like it's done to so many others during his rookie months, right?
Which he never uses that move either.
Which, yes, Bret Hart was struggled for a little bit while in the $1 Million Dream, but Bret Hart managed to freaking take his legs, freaking go right up the turnbuckle, and get a leverage pin on Austin for a 3 count.
Yep.
Thus making Bret Hart the winner of the match.
Yep.
So, your thoughts on this Austin-Bret Hart match, because in my opinion, it was the best match of this whole show.
It was a good match. I wouldn't say it was the best match.
Well, to me, opinions differ, but to me, this one was the best match of the night. It's an underrated gem.
It's underrated. I say it was a great match. I would say I say the main event was a great match.
Mm-hmm.
It lived up to expectations. Well, it went above expectations. And I say it was a good match. I say it was a great match, but I wouldn't say it was the best match that they've had.
Yeah.
Their best one was the rematch at 13.
Well, yeah, I mean, this isn't their best match out of the single pay-per-view outings that they had, but it's an underrated gem. I still say their best match, though, was that submission match at WrestleMania 13 that they did about 5 months later.
Yep.
But still, if you're a fan of Bret Hart and Austin and you haven't seen this match from Survivor Series 96, I would recommend it. So after that match, we go backstage where Psycho Sid was interviewed, and pretty much what he was saying near the end was he'll do anything it takes to become the WWE champion. Swear to God, man, he may have not been the best freaking promo, but jeez, I was shocked about the news a couple weeks ago.
And everyone, the reason why we're doing this review is because a few weeks back, or a week ago, was Sid's
passing.
Funeral.
Yes, Sid's passing. Yep. Yeah, I didn't know.
Sucked. Another one bit the dust. And hopefully, if anyone or if the WWE also views these things, because I think they do, put him in the Hall of Fame. He had a Hall of Fame career.
Mm-hmm.
He came out as Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, and Psycho Sid.
But just remember, we may be smart, but we only have half the brain Sid does. Sorry, I had to say it in that order. Right?
Really? Just really?
Oh, come on. You know that promo from his WCW days is infamous.
Yeah.
But seriously, I don't know.
That's when he was Sid Vicious?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know which promo is more iconic and funny. Sid's from WCW when he accidentally slipped and said that, or Steiner Mass from TNA. But that's another story for another time.
But Sid cut his promo of him saying, "Oh, this is I'm going to be the best in the world." Shawn Michaels said, "Oh, he's going to keep it."
Yeah. But, either way, Sid said he'll do anything to become W champion, and that means anything, and we'll know exactly what anything is later.
Yep.
And now, before the next matchup, W Hall of Famer Captain Lou Albano came out for a special appearance, who got inducted to the Hall of Fame the night before this event. And then, even though he didn't come out right away, Jim Cornette provided special guest commentary for the Survivor Series match.
Well, also, Jim Ross was saying, "Oh, he sold 40 million books or something like that." He's like, Vince is like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, well, I had to sign them all."
But up next, the next match we're talking about is your personal favorite Survivor Series match from this card.
No.
It was your boys Fake Diesel and Fake Razor Ramon, Vader, and Farouk.
In the Nation of Domination.
And the Nation of Domination leader Farouk with Clarence Mason. And yeah, this was back when he had the two rappers rap his lyrics during his Nation of Domination entrance.
Well, it was also the first foundation of the Nation of Domination. It was for just Farouk in the beginning, and then he added more.
And they took on the team of Savio Vega, Yokozuna, your boy Flash Funk, and WWE legend Jimmy Snuka, who was booked as his mystery partner.
The mystery partner, Super Fly.
Yeah, because hella years prior in that same building, Snuka had his match with Don Morocco in that cage, which inspired Mick Foley to compete in wrestling to begin with.
But also, the night before, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yes. That's ironic. We had Jimmy Snuka and Yokozuna on the same Survivor Series team, which those who are members of the Anoa'i family, or the bloodline as we know it today.
Yes.
But you would think, knowing that knowledge, you would think that this could be a good match. You would think wrong.
Oh no, it was crap. Even saying it was crap gives it better things than what it was.
But anyway, let's just go through it. Let's just go through it and try. I'm going to try to briefly go through it as quick as possible. Even if I stumble on some stuff.
Just go to the next match. It was a double disqualification.
It was crap.
The
end. It was crap. The end. Now we got to talk about this match, unfortunately, because if I have to suffer through it, if you and I got to suffer through it, so do they.
The end. Finish. Goodbye. Go to the next match.
This Survivor Series match was still better than that Michael Cole crap you had me watch last week.
No.
But we got to go through it. Spotfuckers, we have to suffer it, so do they. We got to be fair.
Double DQ. The end.
First, we'll get to
Finish.
it.
Move on.
Well, we'll get to that, Mr. freaking goddamn Speedy Gonzalez there. Started with Vader. Started with Vader punching Flash Funk in the corner, followed by a clothesline. It's like Funk hit the moonsault on Vader to the outside, which that was pretty impressive, you got to admit. And then, but Flash Funk then shortly afterwards got powerbombed by Vader. Yokozuna then got involved, and Yokozuna and Vader brawl each other. And then Savio Vega was then the tag legal man. So was Fake Razor. Vega was in control of him. And then freaking Fake Razor hit Savio with the fall-away slam. No one really cares. Right?
Yeah.
Then Diesel came in, or the fake Diesel came in, hit a clothesline to Funk and a couple of big boots. And then freaking Farouk came in only to get and delivered a spine buster on Flash Funk here. Oh yeah, and just for the record, Flash Funk was Too Cold Scorpio. The WWE, Vince McMahon did him dirty. Right?
How'd they do him dirty?
Giving him the Flash Funk gimmick that nobody wanted, that was outdated even for the 90s.
Well, the thing was that was his choice.
Yeah. Maybe it was a counteract to WCW's Disco Inferno. I don't know.
It was to counteract the Disco Inferno, but it was also Flash Funk's choice to beat Flash Funk.
And then Farouk got the tag in, hit a spine buster to Funk. Then Savio Vega got in, and he chopped, quote, Fake Diesel in the corner. I feel sorry for Glenn Jacobs having to deal with this crap gimmick. He found a better one. He was literally a better one a year later that defined his career, and we all know who that is. Stating that for the record right now. Because I never want to review another fucking match with Fake Razor, Fake Diesel again.
Well, we're going to. There was more.
Oh, I know there's more. I ain't looking forward to them. There's like a little bit more, but I ain't looking forward to them.
You're looking forward to it.
Of course, Jimmy Snuka got the tag in, and he hit a body slam on the Vader, which that was the biggest ovation of the match. Because no one thought that was possible. Vader's like, what, 450 pounds at this point?
450 plus.
Yep. And of course, Savio then got the tag in, and he was eliminated after a jackknife powerbomb by Kane. I mean, quote, Diesel. Fuck him. Right? Fuck that gimmick.
Yes.
There's only one person that was able to play the Diesel gimmick to the T, and it wasn't Glenn Jacobs.
It was Kevin Nash.
Yeah, and there was only one person that could play the Razor Ramon character to the T, and it wasn't Rick Bogner either. Vince McMahon only did this to be petty to Nash and Hall in WCW. To begin with. Right?
Well, the thing was that because he had asked them to extend their contract with them, and then he was going to pay them more money, but Ted Turner, who was at the time in charge of WCW,
Yeah.
turned around and gave them more money than Vince could give them at that time. So he was upset that they turned their back on him.
Yeah. And of course, what happened afterwards, Savio Vega was eliminated after the jackknife from Diesel. No one cared. I already mentioned that earlier anyway. Then the Fake Razor was eliminated by Jimmy Snuka after Snuka performed the Superfly Splash from the top rope. Then again, that's all irrelevant because shortly after that, all hell broke loose. Everyone in the match just started brawling with each other. And the referees just called for the bell and disqualified both teams. So there was no winner.
Well, they used chairs.
Yeah, they used chairs. They used their fists because Savio came back out with a chair. Started bashing people with it. And then the heel team got the chair.
Fake
Fake Diesel brought in the chair. Everyone was disqualified. The ref said, "Fuck it, we're done. No one wins. You're all losers."
Yeah, I liked how Vince McMahon was saying, "Oh, these guys are better than the originals. They're more beefier. They're more bulk."
Yep.
I'm like, God damn.
So yeah, this what I know you already stated it before, but what's your thoughts on this shit? There's no other way to say it.
It was worse than shit.
Obviously the weakest match on this card.
Well,
I mean,
that's also why Mr. McMahon took away the Diesel and Razor Ramon character from them, so they could only go by Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
I mean, Razor Ramon and Diesel, those names were trademarks at WWE, so obviously Nash and Hall could not use those names in WCW.
Yes, but WCW wanted to take those names
But they
because
couldn't.
they were the big draw of Diesel and Razor Ramon, but Mr. McMahon said no because he had already trademarked it.
Yeah, and then the fact that freaking Vince McMahon, of all people, got Rick Bogner and Glenn Jacobs to play fake Diesel and fake Razor Ramon just out of fucking pity to show I own the trademarks of this, that was just him jabbing WCW. You know that. And yeah, the reception to those two did not age well then. It did not age well because fans hated it. Because they were expecting the real deal. They weren't expecting the Razor and Diesel from Wish.com. That's pretty much what we got. And yeah, this match sucked.
It wasn't even Wish. It was just jobbers at that point.
Now, I don't know what became of the late Rick Bogner's career. Maybe he worked on the Indies. Maybe he worked in other promotions. Whatever, I hope
he worked in the back scenes of WWF and WWE.
Well, I hope post this experience as fake Razor he had. It's like, I hope he had somewhat of a good little career for himself. But we all know the story of what happened with Glenn Jacobs. He became the Kane character a year later, made a career out of that gimmick, and now he's the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. And a Hall of Famer.
He was the dentist Jankum.
And then he was a fake Diesel.
And then he was fake Diesel. And finally gave him his own character.
Yes, and Glenn Jacobs made a nice career for himself, winning as a Kane character, winning several tag team championships, Intercontinental championships,
several WWE championships,
3 world championships,
Intercontinental, United States, and World Heavyweight.
It's like 3 world titles, and he's a Hall of Famer. So I don't think he's crying about being the fake Diesel character these days.
No.
And of course, Glenn Jacobs right now is the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee, but let's not talk about politics. I never do. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get to our main event, which was the WWE Championship match, which was WWE Champion Shawn Michaels with Jose Lothario taking on Psycho Sid, challenger, number 1 contender.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you could really call Sid the heel walking into this match. He was more like the tweener right at this point. But
he was transitioning from being Shawn Michaels' friend to being
his enemy.
To his enemy. So he was in transition from being a face to heel, but really he was a heel from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, but despite, his somewhat heel alignment, or should we say tweener alignment, going from one to the other, when he came out, the crowd freaking gave him a standing ovation, cheered him like he was a damn president or something.
Well, I like how they gave him the Psycho theme, though.
Yeah. Like if I had to put it like this in modern times, Sid back then during this event, during his entrance, got a standing ovation like Roman Reigns did back at SummerSlam this year. Like, everyone was... or something.
Well, Psycho Sid, before he became Sid Vicious, got more pop than he did in WCW.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we see and then we go to the backstage. We see Shawn Michaels walking in the backstage, walking towards the gorilla position for his entrance
with his manager.
Yep. Shawn Michaels came out. Obviously, he got cheered too because he was babyface. But if you look at reports and read shit from this time, and even the Wrestling Bios guy did this too when he was doing his Reliving the War series, you've seen some reports about people really turning on Shawn at this time period. They were just tired of him somewhat, which, if that is true, I can kind of relate to the feeling in today's product.
Well, he was getting tired of that whole face gimmick shit. And that's why he didn't really care at the end of the match.
Because
I think a couple months later,
it was like less than a year.
Him and Triple H made DX.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and if Michaels was really worried about being hated then, he was really hated a year from this event. We already spoke about that. But at the start...
Oh, yes, the controversy.
Yes. But, right when the match started, after Shawn did his flamboyant entrance, everything like that, Sid overpowered Shawn with a bunch of chops and punches to start off the match. Like, Shawn got no offense in, within the first, minute of the match.
Well, he was also in the position of the power bomb,
which he got out of at one point. Of course, Shawn Michaels did fight back with some jabs followed by a headlock and a head scissors that both men applied to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then freaking a slugfest ensued after that. And then, like you mentioned, Sid did manage to get Shawn into the powerbomb position, which Shawn got out of real quick because he was like, nope. I ain't doing that. I ain't going to be doing that ride that early. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then later, a little bit after that, Sid whipped Shawn to the corner, but Shawn reversed with a chop block to Sid's knee. Right? So Shawn started working on Sid's knee. Trying to soften up the big man to where if you take out the legs, he can't really stand or get to a vertical base here.
Well, he drop kicked him in the knee and then chop blocked him after that didn't work.
Yeah, well, either way, he started working on Sid's knee, and then Shawn even locked in a figure four leg lock to Sid here. Which Sid managed to reverse it, and which caused Michaels to go into the ropes. Thus, the hold was broken. But then Michaels continued working on Sid's knee the whole time, strategy based, go after the injured body part, work on the injured limb, right? Yep. But then Shawn tried another figure four leg lock, which got reversed when Sid kicked him off, sending Shawn's shoulder first into the ring post.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Sid managed to hit a big boot onto Shawn, and then at one point shortly after that, he propped Shawn was up in the corner. Sid tried to do another big boot onto Shawn, but then Shawn reversed it, got away. Yeah, but then Shawn was whipped into the ring apron, followed by when they were on the outside, Shawn was whipped into the ring apron, right?
Yep.
Followed by and then Sid then hoisted Shawn up afterwards and just dropped him, onto the guardrail chest first.
Yep.
That looked nasty. Yeah, and then Sid hit a back body drop on the Michaels. I believe this was back in the ring. Then Shawn tried to fight back, got Sid down temporarily. Shawn then freaking went for some kind of flying nothing, and may have been a crossbody Shawn tried to do.
It was a flying crossbody.
But Sid caught him in midair, then hit a backbreaker on him. And I'm like, well, that's why they go high risk. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't work.
Yep.
On this occasion, it did not work out for Shawn Michaels at all.
Yep.
Then shortly after that, a slugfest ensued with Shawn getting the advantage over freaking Sid this time. Yeah, and then freaking Shawn hit Sid with a body slam, but then, or I think Shawn attempted a body slam, and then Sid reversed it. Oh yeah, Shawn Michaels. Okay, here's the part. Shawn Michaels actually hit a body slam on the Sid. Then Michaels went up to the top rope to do like another flying attack move. And then freaking
flying elbow.
Yeah, I think it was his flying elbow he tried to do. And right in midair, Sid managed to get his boot up, which for Shawn, and then for some reason, Shawn oversold it and freaking did a headstand. And then flopped right back down like a fish.
He rose to the occasion.
And insert picture now.
Well, no, he stiffened to the occasion and then flopped down.
And then after that, freaking Sid managed to put Michaels into a Cobra Clutch submission hold. Right. And then Shawn went down, and then and then there was a series of 2 counts. Shawn kept kicking out of them. And then Shawn battled back. Looked like he was going for a sweet chin music, but it was blocked. But Sid blocked it. The super kick with a 1-arm choke slam on the Michaels.
Yep.
Which I'm like, okay, that looked pretty cool. And then freaking that's when Sid decided, I'm gonna finish him right here. Sid went for the power bomb, but freaking Michaels reversed it into a roll-up pin for a 2 count. But then Sid battled back and hit freaking Michaels with a clothesline, which also resulted into a 2 count near fall. And at this point, we knew exactly what Sid meant when he said he will do anything to win the championship.
Yeah.
So Sid took the camera off the cameraman that was on the ring apron. And then Jose Lanterio has happened to be on the ring apron trying to tell the ref, hey, he's got a camera. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, but then freaking, what did Sid do? He took the camera and rams it into Jose's chest. Off the apron.
What he was going to do was he was going to hit Michaels, and he's like, no, wait a second. And hit his manager in the chest, right in the heart.
Yep. And of course, it was at this point Michaels did hit the sweet chin music super kick onto Sid, but instead of going for the pin, Michaels actually went into the outside to check on his manager, Jose Lanterio, on the outside. And of course, freaking Sid got Michaels back in, and of course, Michaels tried to fight back, and he even attempted to do a crossbody on Sid from the top rope, which Sid ducked, and Michaels hit the referee by accident. Right? Taking the referee out. And of course, at this point, Michaels didn't really care. Michaels went to the back. Then Michaels went back on the outside to check on Jose then. And that's when freaking Sid grabbed the camera once again and hit Michaels in the back with it on the outside of the ring. And then back in the ring, then Sid put Michaels back into the ring and hit a power bomb on the Michaels for a 3 count to win the match and to win the WWE Championship.
Yep.
And with Sid celebrating his WWE Championship win, with Michaels at this point saying fucking and just going to the back, not even selling at this point.
Yep.
And that's how Survivor Series 96 went off air. So your thoughts?
Yep.
Your thoughts on Michaels versus Sid for the WWE Championship here?
I think it was the best match of the night. It was brutal as hell.
Yep. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a decent main event. And I know Sid's not really... I know the late Psycho Sid, and I really hate to talk, crap about his career. But he wasn't really the best technical or the best guy to have a whole lot of good matches, but this one was one of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So here, now that we went through all the matches here, now it's time to discuss our favorite part of every review we do. And that's our freaking star rating system for each match. The first Survivor Series match where Phineas and LaFawn were the sole survivors, I give that one about 3 out of 5. It's a good way to start off the show.
Say 3.5.
All right. The Undertaker defeating Mankind in the match where Paul Bearer was suspended up in a shark cage. I thought it was a good little brawl. You enjoyed it. You gave it 5 out of 5. I give it 4 out of 5. It would have been 5 out of 5 for me if the Undertaker got his hands on Paul Bearer like promised.
Yeah.
That's like the only flaw I have with this. The second Survivor Series match, which featured the debut of Rocky Maivia with Maivia also himself being the sole survivor, in what I believe was the best Survivor Series match of the night, I give that one 4 out of 5.
I guess 4.25.
Yeah. Stone Cold Steve Austin defeating Bret the Hitman Hart. No, Bret the Hitman Hart defeating Stone Cold Steve Austin in that number 1 contenders match.
4.5.
If you give it 4.5, I give it 5 out of 5. To me, arguably the best match of the night. And of course, the third and final Survivor Series match that ended in a double disqualification, 0 out of 5.
Negative 1,000.
Pretty much the same thing I was thinking. The weakest match of the night. And of course, the main event, which saw Psycho Sid defeat Shawn Michaels to win the WWE Championship. I give that 4.5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
All right. So, that being said, my final grade for Survivor Series 96 is a solid B. All the matches were on point except for that one Survivor Series match that ended in a double DQ. That one was crap. Okay. You say B minus, I say B. We're about the same ballpark on the show grade. So, yep, that's our thoughts and our grading and our grades for Survivor Series 96. So, usually this is the time where we talk about what we're going to be doing next week, but next week I am taking the week off for myself, take a break from uploading. So, our next freaking review that we'll be putting up on the channel will be 2 weeks from now. And that would be your choice, Riptides.
Yep.
So, what are we going to be reviewing in 2 weeks' time from now?
Oh, you'll find out.
Oh, we must find out right now. So what dastardly event are you going to have me review after taking a week off from the crappy events? You're so messed up.
It's going to be your favorite match.
What match are you talking about? What kind of freaking rabbit hole did I put myself in?
It's No Way Out.
God damn it, I hate to ask, but what year are you talking about?
03.
You fucking piece of shit! God damn it, as if the first encounter that we saw a couple weeks back wasn't bad enough. The only positive thing about No Way Out 2003 is the freaking kick-ass theme song that they had for the event. Yeah. Other than that, I could give two shits less about that event. So I guess in 2 weeks' time, the next pay-per-view we're going to be reviewing is No Way Out 2003. Thank God.
Steiner Triple H rematch.
Thank God. Thank God I'm taking a break next week, because I don't think my mind can wrap around that shit next week.
You should have known with my laugh.
That could be anything. You could have been thinking about any match that we haven't reviewed yet.
Thinking about the Michael Cole match again.
Don't even mention him right now. This crappy Survivor Series match we've seen here at this event was better than that Michael Cole match. Not by much, though.
Well, I was also thinking about another crappy event.
Ugh. There's a lot of crappy events. But anyway. Lord, so yeah, like we said, in 2 weeks, our next freaking pay-per-view review will be No Way Out 2003, featuring the rematch between Triple H and Scott Steiner for the World Championship.
Well, I was thinking of, you want to know what I was thinking about the other crappy event?
Oh, I can only imagine.
2001 Invasion.
Yeah, we can do that some point later. You already made up your choice. I'm already going to be tortured enough with this No Way Out event in 2 weeks. Ugh. So anyway, until then, we will catch y'all later. Peace.
Deuces.